Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm. Available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
And we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
And we're back to the beach to remind us not to go into the water, which is the Matt Kelly philosophy. And we're discussing 1977's Tentacles, about a killer octopus.
Picked by you.
Picked by me. I picked this one. And guys, I'm going to jump all the way down to the last note that I have here, which is something I pulled from IMDb. But there's this post that shows up on the trivia for every one of these movies that I pick. And it starts with this. One of the cycle of late 70s, early 80s movies that was made after the box office success of Jaws. And then it lists all the films. So I looked. IMDb lists 17 movies in that list.
Jeez.
Only 8 of them we haven't covered on this show yet.
We've done 9. Are you serious?
Dead serious. So the ones that we haven't covered, just, to be continued, I guess.
I'll go ahead and get. Are they on Tubi?
I'm sure some of them are.
Fucking Tubi.
Jaws the Revenge. Stay tuned.
Haven't done. Wait. Which one's Jaws the Revenge?
That's the one in the Bahamas. Yeah, we did a commentary for a listener, but that was it. Orca, which definitely stay tuned. Killer Fish, which I've never seen. Barracuda, which I've never seen. Tintora the Killer Shark, which is a big stay tuned. Humanoids from the Deep, which we've all agreed we're probably not going to do. The Island of the Fishmen, which I've never heard of before.
I sent you guys that picture when I was at Cinema Wasteland this spring. I saw a poster for Island of the Fishmen.
Yeah, you did. It was gnarly.
And then one that I saw twice and hate it both times, put it as one of my 10 least favorite films ever made, Mako, The Jaws of Death. So
yes.
At least 2 of those 8 we will never do. But
we're past
6. We're past the halfway point, homeboys.
That's incredible. Incredible work, y'all.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for. So I am very curious what everyone's assessment of this movie was, because critically, this movie is a solid 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, hilarious.
Which I think...
That's harsh.
I think that's a bit harsh, because I feel like this is one of those movies where there's not a lot to be found about the production, but the little bit that is found about the production was not a lot of money and tons of technical issues.
They lost the entire octopus.
They lost the whole octopus.
Except for one tentacle.
But I think that there are I think that the parts that are supposed to be funny are funny. I think that there are some amazing like set pieces.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
we'll get into a couple of these. And I think that like the good parts and the impressive parts don't outweigh but are equal to the bad parts. Like I think that this is as like down the middle 2.5 out of 5 stars as you can get, because there are some really great things and there are some really bad things.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna
Which is exactly what you expect from the Jaws like ripoffs that were, the whole list. There's not a gem really on that list.
There is. There's one. The Last Shark.
The Last Shark.
Also
Last Shark.
shares the distinction with Tentacles of being an Italian production made in America, right?
Yes. Yep. That
I think
it
that's
does.
the secret sauce. Ooh.
So
You thirsty, buddy? What you got there?
I'm
what's
parched.
happening?
I'm parched.
All right, let's hear what you got.
I got Flying Jenny Pale Ale from Grey Sail Brewing Company, because just when there's that one shot of all the boats in the water and there's no saving them, God, it just is joyous. What about you, Scott? I heard you were a little parched over there too.
My buddy Kyle, you may know him, gave me Tox Brewing Fire Coral Irish style red ale brewed with hot peppers, and I know I'm going to regret this just as much as if I were to pick Orca.
Yeah. Orca's fun.
I don't like that.
Oh no.
I don't like that at all.
And
Sorry,
we don't have a
Kyle, have
convention
you
for a
had it?
while for you to get rid of
Sorry,
it.
Scott.
Have you had it?
I did.
Do you like
did.
it? It hurts.
I find it very interesting. God, I can't have a fucking opinion on this show about anything, huh?
No, actually, the flavor is great.
It's done right. I don't think it's like a beer that I would drink often. You
How,
know what I mean?
how would someone
Like,
drink an entire pint of this?
I don't.
I mean,
Dude,
like,
I do not
I'll
know
get
that.
maybe a couple
don't know.
more sips out of it just because it's there, but
I don't even know
hot
what
damn.
food you would necessarily drink with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what
Ice
you would
cream?
pair it with. yeah, like a watermelon feta salad. Just to
Some
fucking
tabbouleh.
help. Just to help.
Yeah.
Tabbouleh. I like it. But sorry, Scott. I just...
No, the thing is that I was so torn between doing. I didn't know what to have for this week because we did Blood Beach and Devilfish, also known as Monster Shark, also known as all the other names that are
a slew of other names.
Consuming
What was the
Waves.
one that
Whatever.
Megan hated? Consuming Waves.
I think that the one was like Red Waves, Shark of the Deep or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what it was, but it was bad. But I did Squish Ink for that because it was a tentacled fish monster. But then I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And so I actually have another Fugu Nelson from Tox in my fridge, and I was like, oh, I'll do that. But then I was like, I think I did that for Toxie, didn't I? And I think I know it was a Tox Brewing, so I was like, maybe I did Fugu Nelson. I didn't have the time to look back in the actual episode.
Fugu too. One of these days, Scott, we're just circling the drain, circling the ocean floor.
I can't wait until you're both on the same page for this.
It's gonna be iconic, truly.
The first thing I want to talk about when it comes to this movie, and I would love to hear Scott's opinion on this, and I'm going to read exactly what I wrote.
No one wants.
While it's not memorable in the way that the Jaws theme was, I think that this is one of the most interesting scores we've had to a film in a really long time, because it's almost like just little harpsichord stings or stuff.
Bro, I love you so much. I'm going to read you my note exactly as I wrote it. I said, this harpsichord stinger is so Addams Family.
It is. It's kind of.
It sounds like
I
da-da-da-da.
kind of love
It's what
it.
it sounds like.
I
enjoyed it very much. But it
And
also
then
is
this
cool because they expand it into kind of like this 70s almost lighthearted adventure song that then gets dark when the octopus is fucking killing people left and right. I don't know. It's cool. I liked it.
So speaking again about the music and what you just said, there is a scene, like there are so many scenes in this movie where I'm like, this is insane and I love it. And one of the biggest, this is insane, but I love it, is the entire scene with the boat where the octopus is just taking out every single person in the boat race. And it is like a 3-minute scene with almost no dialogue and no sound. It is just the song as you're watching like the horrific massacre that is happening to like
There's
everybody on the water.
There's not even any screaming or anything because
No.
I looked away. I was not paying attention.
Where are people going?
For half of that, right? And there's just music. I'm like, okay, I can go run and I don't know what I did. I went and grabbed something out of the kitchen. Came back and it's just carnage, but no, my brain was just like, there's nothing happening. It's just music. They're just racing the boats. I've seen enough Italian movies that they just do a thing set to music for a long time with no payoff, right? Like that's the 9 times out of 10 scenario. Yeah, this is chaos. It's
but that's
so
like,
scary.
but, like that's the stuff where I'm like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes seems wildly unfair.
It's mean.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
There's no way to get your numbers back up anymore. This movie is so old, right?
Yeah.
There's no
it's just
shot.
like there is some and we'll get into it a little bit later, but there's like I remember there was one scene in particular that stuck with me from the first time I watched this movie that I had like locked in my brain as like one day we're going to pick this movie just so I can talk about this one scene and we'll get there. But first of all, the movie starts with a baby getting killed in the first 5 minutes.
That's bold.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was kind of expertly done in a single shot with a school bus driving by and then they like do the switcheroo as the school bus drives by. But I'm like, that is also very cool, kind of horrific. And then like no more than 2 seconds later, just a fucking skeletal corpse pops out of the water at a kid on a boat. I was like, this movie rules.
Great way to start with like sort of these like off-screen deaths. It's just like, it was like turning up. And I was like, okay, here we go. And I watched this last year. I think I even said it.
You talked about it, and I said,
okay.
stop talking about it because we're going to discuss it.
Perfect. So it was very nice to return to it. I watched it in the afternoon this time, which was less exciting, but it still is. I mean, when those first few deaths came up, I was like, yes, I remember.
So here's a couple like from the making of the movie factoids that I thought needed to be brought up. One of them was that initially the original script was a lot more comedic. It was supposed to be a satirization of the killer animal subgenre. And it wasn't until Samuel Z. Arkoff had some writers retool it, and then it became a little bit more serious. But I still feel like elements of that original satire are there.
Yeah, the
and
brother
a lot
and
of it's
sister.
In,
I
was going to say, a lot of it involves Shelley Winters.
Yeah.
And then
She's
the other
camp.
thing...
She is so camp. That hat.
Dude,
that
she
fucking
is
straw
wearing a hat. That is insane.
That hat, biggest fucking hat I've ever seen. Ever goddamn seen, dude.
But then
like,
the other...
Speedy Gonzalez's hat is...
Dude,
smaller
that's what it
than
looks like. It's so big. But then the other note I wrote, the other factoid that I found was it said, the first choice to play the lead role was John Wayne. John Wayne accepted the role, and then the director met with him at his Texas home and realized that he was far too sick to play the part, and John Wayne actually died like a year after this movie came out.
Or a year after the movie came out, but like it would have been 2 years after it was.
I can't fathom what this movie would be like if John fucking Wayne was in this.
Well, you know what I mean?
I don't think we'd be discussing it.
No,
and then
no
they
shot.
then they turned to Henry Fonda, and Henry Fonda suffered a heart attack right before they started filming, so he had to step down to like a supporting role of Mr. Whitehead, and then they brought in John Huston to replace Henry Fonda in the lead role. Like, yeah, you know it. But let's get to the part that made me want to pick this movie in the first place. It's the scene with the divers. The scene where the one diver is trying to get pulled back up to the boat. Mm-hmm. It is, in my mind, and I mean this not even as a joke, this is one of my favorite moments in any Italian horror film because I think it is such a cheap but effective scare, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just in this tank, the lights cut out for a couple seconds, the lights come back on, all of a sudden water starts bursting out of everything, and then just quick cut to the octopus's eyes staring into the glass.
It's so good.
And then the explosion of bubbles from the boat's view. I'm like, this is so good at what it's doing.
It is. I wrote that note too. One of my few notes is that this like, you know, submarine death is so good.
It's like kind of chilling at the same time because you're like, oh my God, what the fuck would I do? First of all, I would never be in this situation because I stay out of the water.
Yes,
right.
But
it's a nightmare scenario. It's a true nightmare scenario. Like if you were asleep and this is it's nightmarish, you know. And that shot to the eye, which I I can't wrap my brain around it. I think it is just one shot. I think it's within the shot.
Yeah.
But there's no. I'm not even looking at the window at all. It's so well framed that the scare got me. Like I was like, oh shit, you know, like it's there.
And hey, here's a quick news update for anybody to kind of stamp when we recorded this episode, and for no reason in particular. But did you guys hear that there's a millionaire who also feels like he's built a sub that he thinks he can go and check out the Titanic
another
this
one?
Summer? Yeah, a new one.
Man,
just wanted to bring that up.
are gonna be eating good.
Matt, I'm not taking you for a ride. I told you it's just for personal use.
Seriously. All right, so let's address the upside down feet in the room.
Yes.
There is this scene where it's these people on a boat, and the first thing, before we even get to this, I love that this movie takes the time to do a double fake out prank. So the guy's like floating in the water, and it's like the Jaws setup, you know, like the under the water, see the feet, kind of above the water, see the guy playing around, music intensifies, and then guy in a snorkel is just like, bah! And he screams. And he's like, ah, fuck you. And the guy swims away. And he's floating in the water, and then
With
we go
his
back
shoes
under the
on.
water. Yeah, with his shoes on, goes back under the water. We see him in there swimming around, pans up, and then it's the same guy with the snorkel a second time. He goes, I can't believe I got you twice. And I'm like,
That's why this movie was an hour and 52 minutes long.
hour and 42. Hour
Exactly.
and 42.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. It just felt like it was 10 minutes long.
It just felt like 2.5 hours. It was, but they did that, and then at the end, when they're also on some musical thing, they do this thing where they stop whatever they do, like a screen.
Oh,
grab.
the screen freezes.
The
It's
screen
twice.
freezes.
I thought
Thank you.
that was
Sorry,
just the
they did a-
Tubi version.
No,
Is it
dude,
actually?
they
That's
do a
during
freeze
the
frame
yacht
like-
race, right?
Yes, they do
It
a
happens,
freeze
like-
frame like 5 times. It equals a
So-
minute. It has to equal
Yeah.
at least another minute. And
What
it's
were
like,
they
you don't
trying
need
to
do
prove?
That. Well, why?
For on nothing. It's just on like random people's faces.
It's just like,
some
oh,
points.
You know who they really should have paused during the yacht race?
Horrible.
When the carnage starts, I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I would be so sad if I'm the only one, but there is a woman. So the thing, I love the juxtaposition during that yacht race when the octopus starts to rampage and just
Oh, and they're watching
people-
the comedian and like laughing
they're all
their asses
laughing,
off.
and so it's like but it goes back and forth, and then there's a woman who's not in the foreground, and she slyly picks her fucking nose. Did you see her?
I didn't, but damn it, now
She
I have
like
to
goes,
rewatch
she
the
does
whole
the
movie.
thumb thing, you
We're gonna
know,
do that anyway.
and I'm like, I have to say something about that.
Dude,
like,
I
if,
love
if
that.
this show is known for anything, if HMN is known for anything, I want people to know that I will catch you like digging for nose gold in a movie from
Watch out, extras.
1978 or whatever.
Don't fucking do it again.
Well, so the way that every single attack in this movie is handled is beautiful. And that boat race scene specifically, I wrote down the note, this octopus legitimately has a higher body count than all of the Jaws films combined.
Yeah.
Because he takes out like 30 people in that scene alone.
Just for fun.
but-
It's because octopi are smart. Cephalopods are smart as fuck.
Yeah.
This is why
Well,
I
it's
said this
also-
on Devilfish.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude. I'm never eating calamari ever again. I'm not.
But that's like also like they barely even touch on this in the actual movie, but it's because like, oh, they're drilling, and it's like anytime they're drilling, he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's just a giant octopus doing its shit. But like the scene that we're talking about where it finally gets the guy after the 2 fake outs, then it gets the guy who was scaring him. And it's you literally just see his 2 feet sticking straight up in the air as he's trudging down. But then, like, even the ridiculousness of that becomes fucking dope because the one girl who's on the boat
gets-
all of a sudden the back of the boat just rips straight off, and I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn, these horror set pieces are some of the best horror set pieces we've talked about on this podcast in a long time, and it's in this dumbass 70s.
I mean, I honestly, even the charm of the full like attack on that one boat where we see the dolls fall over and like it just and like the miniature is truly
well.
the
I
miniature's
wrote the toy
atrocious,
boat. But yeah,
it
when
is
you see that water
so fun.
smash through the glass, I'm like, holy fuck! And that's also the only time that we get like I'm guessing it's a projection or a green screen, but it's her in the water and there's like a lightning flash and you see the full octopus up in the sky before
and then
she's
it
being
like
attacked by the
pulls her
tentacles.
up into the air and then drags her down, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so good.
That is the best kill in this movie. It's not funny. It's just really, really dark.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
It's done in such a. It's almost like Halloween. Like you just see enough to be like really disturbed.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
that
then
one in particular.
I mean, even like I know that they didn't get a lot of time with this octopus head, but even when you just see like that prop head just ripping through the water towards everything, I'm
great.
like, why is this so? It's insane that this movie works as good as it does. Like,
we are due for a killer octopus movie. There's so many internet videos of octopi getting themselves out of situations that, you know what I mean? Like that we're just in awe of. We deserve another really, really solid octopus horror movie.
The only problem, and I think that this is why shark movies have had to become so ridiculous, is because, as Jaws taught us, Americans are idiots. So I mean, Peter Benchley basically dedicated the rest of his life to trying to save the lives of sharks because he felt so bad that the Jaws panic caused people to just kill sharks without a care in the world because they're just like, they're all monsters. So let's not do that to the octopus in the world as well.
I do have to say one thing about this. You guys know that I don't love giant killer, or not even giant, but killer animal movies. They're not really my thing. I like them when they have an extra little, sprinkles on top, either like Prophecy where it's a mutated bear, or Devilfish where it's a mutated fish, but also
you like a mutated.
I like a but
well, you also like a Lovecraftian, like you like an ancient thing
something
that's not quite a true animal.
It doesn't really scare me. Like you guys we were talking about Primal. There's also another movie called Primal, which is about a killer crocodile.
Alligator.
I want to say
Alligator. Crocodile. Yeah.
I think it's crocodile.
It's crocodile. It's
doesn't
crocodile.
matter. And I watched that in theaters.
It does
and
with the crocodile.
Fucking stupid. And
that's how I felt about Crawl, a movie that literally everybody else in the world loved, and I was not a fan.
And
but you can do that with an octopus. You could. Yeah. I'm sorry, Scott. You had a point about
they can
that.
Oh man, Crawl with an octopus, I'd watch the shit out of it.
Fuck yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like this movie should not work for me on paper. I was expecting to be bored out of my skull. It's so good. It is so shockingly good. Like, I don't know why it works so well. And I would I would love to see another movie like this because octopi, cephalopods are cool enough that you can just have them be killing people and I would be on board for it. I would be on that boat.
You could do a true slasher with, you know what I mean? Like other animal
they
attack
could hold
movies.
8 knives.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Just because we saw that one thing with the crab with a knife one time, it's not that cool. Octopi with knives, multiple weapons. I don't care.
Listen, Kyle, only one of us is a filmmaker. Make it happen.
Oh, now I have a responsibility to everybody.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
And we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
Looking for a new seasonal anime? Want to know what new anime music is out there? Looking to add a new waifu or husbando to the list? Or are you just looking for a modern or classic anime to add to your plan to watch list? My name is Nick and I run the Waifus and Weeaboos podcast, and you can check me out on geekscape.net.
One last note that I have here, and quick discussion topic. How do we feel about the fact that the humans have nothing to do with the demise of this octopus? And that it's just ripped apart by some killer whales that just happen to pop in.
It felt like, and if they lost the octopus prop creature, I understand, but they didn't need to use the orca that you get at the zoo that has the handle that does the bite, the plastic orca. It's really upsetting.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the practical effect that bothered me. It was the storyboard concept that pissed me the fuck off.
Well, so
those Italians, man, they love an underwater fight.
Look, this might hurt or help the situation. What I did read was that was an actual octopus in the killer whale sequence, but it was an octopus that they bought at the fish market and just threw into the water and let the killer whales eat at it.
That's worse, Matt. I was just eschewing how great this movie is, and it's got animal death, legit animal death in it. Or was it a dead octopus?
It was a dead octopus that they bought from the market.
Okay,
no.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't. No, Matt told me to watch the underwater parts at double speed, and so I did, and I missed the fact that it was a real carcass. I mean, there was more.
I mean, you barely notice
fish.
it because since it's already dead, it's basically moving the same as the practical was. They didn't have a diver there to move.
How many dead octopus carcasses did we see in Toxie 2?
That's true. Yeah,
not nearly as many in this as in that.
I mean, I guess I get to decide how we're going to save this evening. And Scott, you already said it. It's The Last Shark, baby. It's an Italian-American film. It has a scene with a bunch of people having a boat race. It 100%, there's no other choice as far as I'm concerned. It's The Last Shark. But
and that would be a great night.
I challenge both of you.
That would be an awesome night. That was on my
and you definitely start with Tentacles and then build into Last Shark.
You always end with Last Shark, dude. Yeah. That is the literal climax of your night, of your life.
Right. Scott,
Kyle, what about you?
Oh, okay.
I'm a gentleman.
What?
I said I'm a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
You are a gentleman. You are a hell of a gentleman. I'm gonna go. It came from beneath the sea, which was
They said that this had a lot more going on for it with It Came From Beneath the Sea than Jaws, right?
And so it came from beneath the sea, and to be honest with you, it's only a movie I've seen in clips. I had a little book. You guys might remember these books. I wish I had it up here. But it was a handful of these little pocket-sized books. One was about zombies. One was about vampires. One was about... I know you have them, Matt.
Matt's like...
We've talked about them.
BRB.
Yes! Yeah, motherfucker!
I have no idea what those are. Those were not part of my childhood.
I'm positive.
Shots is what they're called. And they were from the Scholastic Book Fair.
Yep.
And they'd be these little... pocket-sized books that would just have photos from famous zombie movies or monster movies. Honestly,
wow.
I bet the monster
Do you
one
have the monster one?
Yeah, I got it right here. Let's see if I can find...
I'm almost positive that is where I saw the first image from that movie, and it's an image that stuck with me. There's not a lot of killer octopi movies, right? There it is. Thank you. There it is. It's Ray Harryhausen does some of the effects. They use, it's the killer octopus movie that started it all on this journey. And I don't know what my future holds. I don't know if this is where I want to end up, but if for some reason God gives me the opportunity to do an octopus movie, I will take it and honor both Tentacles and It Came From Beneath the Sea. So, what about you, Scott?
I'm going with Bloodhook because that corpse popping out, and that I love that. That was like the best jump scare I've had on HMN in forever.
Long ass time.
And I was like, well, they used that same fucking prop in Bloodhook.
Can we mention though the lead up to that corpse popping up was just this woman.
Oh
being
yeah,
like I want to
sexually
kiss you, and
assaulting
he's
her.
like, I've had better kisses than you. What did he say?
He's busy fishing.
He's
Yeah.
too busy fishing. He doesn't want to kiss her. Melissa Gomez kisses better than you.
Yeah.
So that was sort of, I cracked up. I rewound to make sure I got that line.
Got the
But
name
he's just
right, yeah.
listing off women that kiss better, and then she tries to force one on him, and he is a scrawny gentleman trying to fish. She is a larger woman who is really trying to prove this kiss, and then a corpse pops out, and he's had a day apparently.
He's had like a 10-minute that is to be remembered. Everybody, this is, I think, the last week that you can get these in. So if you've got a listener submitted
You better
pick,
work.
You better work on it. So email us at hmnpodcast@gmail.com with a movie that you would like to hear us discuss on the podcast. And then also join our newsletter if you'd like. You can learn all the different types of things that go on behind the scenes. There's a project that the three of us are working on that will definitely be announced to the newsletter, folks, before anything else. And unless Scott and Kyle have anything else that they need to add and promote, then let's talk about the thing that I watched and cried like a baby.
I think I know what it is. Tell us.
Netflix added Butterfly in the Sky
Yep.
onto their website, and holy shit. I think Reading Rainbow is like a show that I remember the theme song more than I remember the show. I love
can
the
agree.
show,
Yep.
but in the conversation of like, I always talk about how important Jim Henson is in my life and how important Mr. Rogers is in my life. And folks, strap in, because at the time that we're recording this, we are 3 days away from the Jim Henson documentary coming out on Disney Plus that will also wreck me.
Yeah, dude, I know.
but
I saw the preview for that when I was watching Winnie the Pooh, and I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. But this reminds you like how much of a huge impact LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow also had. And yeah, it's great. Watch it. You'll cry. It's beautiful. It's fascinating. It will make you want to I know that as I do whenever I watch shit like this, I was texting Jonathan and being like, we got to do this stuff. We need to stop dragging our feet. We've got enough people. We need to start pitching good educational television ideas, be it game shows or kids programming, with the vast knowledge that we have behind us at Geekscape. Because I don't know why not us is what I say. But yeah, highly recommend everyone go check it out. That's all I'm going to say about it for now.
You know how I think I had mentioned that Carly and I, we watch Amazing Race, and not like new Amazing Race. We've gone back onto Paramount Plus and just started from the top, and we are at season 20. It's just been such a good sort of throw on the TV, talk about our days to each other, but sort of have, in a true millennial fashion, have something on in the background while we do anything else.
Yep.
But this has since changed. So, NCIS. I don't know if any of you have heard of this show. I'm just kidding. I know you've heard of NCIS. But when we were down in Texas, our good friends Callie and Brett, we went down and we were part of a family event down there. So Brett's stepdad, Rod, great stepdad name. He comes to the house. All the ladies go out shopping. Rod comes to the house with us. We put down their daughter for a nap. We're going to just also maybe either take a nap or hang out on the couch. We have two options, really. Rod sits in the chair, the solo chair, throws on pilot episode NCIS, and then promptly falls asleep. So Brett and I are on the couch, and I know my grandfather, he was in the Navy, he had NCIS on, but he also had Big Bang Theory. He was just, a classic grandpa watching whatever TV was on. But I didn't realize that I didn't know that N in the NCIS stood for Navy or Naval. I had no clue. So now we're just, now, this was less than 2 weeks ago. Carly and I are now on episode 15 of season 1 of NCIS.
Wow. That's a fast jump.
Cannot stop. We can't stop. There is no slowing us down. It is, we know it's propaganda. We know the pattern. We are fully aware of everything that is happening to us, okay? Okay? We
Okay.
know.
Yes, we got you.
But it is so fun to watch. So NCIS is all on Netflix, and you too could fall down the rabbit hole and not have anything good to ever talk about on this show. You could you could literally do this. And
I should just throw this out there. The Butterfly in the Sky documentary is 85 minutes long. So if you're trying to
I have
decide
no time.
between
I
that,
could do 2 episodes of NCIS. Sorry, Matt. Jeez, I'm busy. Scott, what about you?
I'm going to give another shout out to some friends of ours, Melissa and Chris LaMartinez, new record from Beach Creeper called In Surf Of. Their cryptid surf rock band is so much fun. Hit it up on Bandcamp, listen to it, download it. There may be a couple of vinyls left. I don't know. It's super fun. But I also had to tell you guys that Bandcamp will do, like if you like this, you may like this at the bottom. And I was like, who's this Evil Sword band? Have you guys ever heard of Evil Sword?
It's called Evil Sword? No.
It's the most metal name for a band that is not metal at all. I don't even know how to categorize it because it is very art school. It's kind of like if Dead Man's Bones, like, when Ryan Gosling did that, like, spooky record with, like, odd instrumentation and kind of a funny voice, change some of the instrumentation, crank the weirdness of the instrumentation up, change Ryan Gosling singing like that, and make it a woman with kind of a raspy, almost creepy kid voice sometimes, but also almost Blood Brothers-y. It definitely owes a lot to mathcore in that way, but I don't even know if it sounds like mathcore. But it is so strange. I listened to people were saying put it on at Halloween parties, which I can get behind it. It's super cool. So their newest record is called, and I listened to a couple songs from that, it's called Basket Fever, and it came out in October of last year.
Dude, hell yeah.
But I actually think I was enjoying more Witches, which is a record that they did 2013. So they've been around for a long time. But it's mostly this woman, they're from Philly, but it's mostly this woman, she's the main creative, I believe, from it. Her name is Kate Ferenz, I believe is how you pronounce it. She's a singer. She does she also has like other rock art, indie. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so strange. Listeners, Kyle and Matt in particular, but specifically Kyle, give
it sounds incredible.
Evil Sword a listen.
Yeah.
I hate that I talked more about Evil Sword than Beach Creeper because I love Beach Creeper, but they are an understandable thing. It's like surf music, but it's about cryptids. Like that's
a very easy
elevator pitch, right?
Like, yeah.
There's no elevator pitch for Evil Sword. It is some of the oddest music that I've ever heard. And I'm not saying that it's not music. I'm just saying that it is so like parallel thinking in music form. Highly recommend giving it a shot.
Awesome.
Both bands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that Beach Creeper album is, just to piggyback off of that, fantastic. I mean, like, I
got a
remember,
shout out on Hard Times. Did you see that?
I did see that. That rules. So I remember telling a decent amount of people after Creature Feature, not this past year, but the previous year, I mean, about the band, but particularly about Pride of Frankenstein, just being like, how
Love that
perfect of a concept is that? And then hearing it in the recorded form, the final form on the album, and let alone, I mean, the whole album rips. But that song in particular, I love how it came out. And I hope more people listen to it because it kind of rules.
All right. Well, what also kind of rules was Tentacles.
Hell
so
yeah.
Stay tuned next week and see if we can keep this upward trajectory and momentum. But probably not, knowing our show. But hey, we can see.
We can try.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, welcome to Unstable Topics, a fast-paced, jam-packed, unhinged bestie podcast filled with facts, reacts, and made-up games in between.
We're your hosts, Sarah
And Maggie.
and we're excited for you to join our best friend hangout, where we surprise one another with things we find interesting or hilarious just to see how the other will react.
Our friendship might be totally stable, but you never know what your bestie might throw your way to knock you off your game.
So come shake things up, learn something new, and laugh along with us. This is Unstable Topics.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.